right, I'm moving soon, so I'm getting rid of a bunch of books, and some of them I've read and some of them I haven't. And one of the books that I wanted to read really bad before I got rid of it, but actually I might end up keeping this one, is The Red Market by Scott Carney. And I would say this is where the sticker was. I actually have had this book for about 5 years, and it's just been kind of sitting on a shelf. It was written in 2011. So it's a little dated, but not really, because I don't think there's a ton of books on the red market. And what the red market is again, being the light reading topics that I go into, the red market is basically body parts. And what the author does in this book is he basically kind of does a survey and uses, 7 or 8, maybe up to 10 examples of what's going on in the red market and how there's up top, there's this legal market for body parts or body products. And then there's this middle layer of brokers and stuff. And then there's the poor people that are being exploited. I think the author at the time was in India, which probably has the most cases in the world of where this type of thing happens on an exploitation level. But he also traveled to Cyprus for like Ukrainian women donating their eggs for money for in vitro and also discusses a lot of the things that are happening around the world. So yeah, the book is, like I said, I think 2011. It was written. It's about 230 pages long, and it's a survey. Like I said, he goes into like, and he starts off with skeletons, and then he goes into like blood, he goes into in vitro, he goes into hair, he goes into people selling themselves as lab rats, mostly in the US for that one, and for medical experimentation and some of the gnarly stuff that goes on there. And then I like how he gets into how there's this floating legal service that basically the parts that flood into this legal body part thing, the red market, um, there's these brokers, and for lack of a better term, and as long as they look legit, there's really no real questions from the legal thing, that the legal layer that floats up top, like American hospitals and others. As long as all the paperwork looks legit for a liver or kidney, somebody needs it, they'll buy it from the broker, and then down here are the people in India and other exploited places that are donating their body parts for um, a little bit of money. And a lot of times they're abused, like they won't get their payments, or they'll not have a good recovery. The medical care they receive during the removal of a kidney is bad. They heal bad. And it raises all sorts of ethical issues about the red market. And no one really talks about the red market much. I didn't even know there was a term for it. So I think even though the book's, 13 years old now, I'm not aware of a bunch of other books that are like this. Again, it's by Scott Carney. He actually has a website too. And he's also, the author, I think, is a real investigative journalist. Like, some people criticize this book for mainly being, um, like I said, the author was in India, but India is one of the places where people get exploited the most by Western countries. So I think it's fair that he was there, and he does, like I said, he went in, goes in the U.S. and Cyprus and other places too. So I did see a reviewer that kind of nagged him on that, and I don't think that's fair. Um, you know, and he's like a one-man show during the whole thing, writing this too, so he can't be flying around all over the place. So my review, is this book worth a read? Yes, because this is a big topic, body part trafficking, legal, illegal, and in that gray zone. And I think that if you're a thinker about society and how society could be improved, there's a lot of stuff here. And it even talks about adoption, which hits close to me because I'm an adoptive father, and my son doesn't come from India, but he comes from a place in the world that isn't that great. And, we kind of made sure that there was no craziness going on with him. But, you know, there's always a lingering wonder. But yeah, there was this one case in this book. Well, I don't want to ruin the book for you, but it gets into a whole lot of things and makes you think. And I think it's a very important book. I don't think there's a lot of books out there like this. So if you're interested in this dark realm that exists, that's a multi-billion dollar industry that deals with human lives, um, and basically commodifying our bodies. It's a good book to read. Once again, it's called The Red Market, and its subtag is On the Trail of the World: Organ Brokers, Bone Thieves, Bone Farmers, and Child Traffickers. So yeah, it's pretty light reading. So anyway, great book, highly recommend it. So if you can find it around, I got this in a bargain bin. It's amazing these days how many books I find in the bargain bin that are like really, really good. It kind of scares me a little bit for the future of society, the whatever vampire teen books probably, going for 40 bucks, and here these critical books are going for a couple bucks. Makes me a little sad. Scott Carney, The Red Market, On the Trail of the World's Organ Brokers, Bone Thieves, Blood Farmers, and Child Traffickers. Clocking in about 230 pages. Well worth your read. And that's it. If you have any questions, leave them. You know where to leave them.